But you never know that you could. And when you feel that way, ain't it good, good dancing in the red and gold. Dancing in the red and gold.
Hello and welcome to another edition of 49er Faithful UK Live. I am Nick Ludlam.
And I am Paul Hope.
And thank you all, guys, for joining us. It is now 9 Sundays to football. Just 9. Single digits. It almost feels right around the corner. We are ready. Let's be honest, the faithful, we're all ready. We're always ready. We're always ready for Lombardy number 6. But until we get into all things Niners, Paul, mate, how have you been doing this week?
Well, Nick, as you said, 9 glorious Sundays to go for all you fans out there. We are in the dreaded off-season. I did see a comment when me and Nick decided to do a show tonight, because I'll confess, totally forgot it was Tuesday, totally forgot to set the link up. Nick was flashing his new mouse pad, and there was a comment, what do you boys have to talk about? Now, for a second, Nick, I had to double-check that it wasn't Tracy logged in, because it's something she says to me every week. But before we get into it, buddy, I just wanted to say thank you to everybody who reached out last week. We obviously cancelled the show due to the passing of my uncle. So all the messages I've received, all the support from the faithful, hasn't gone unnoticed. So other than that, all is good with Mr. Hope. I'm in the Scott Fishbowl drafting mode. So if you see me checking my phone, faithful, I am in a live draft at the moment. A slow one, I will say, Nick. But how are you, buddy?
Yeah, not too bad. My drafting season hasn't picked up yet. I've already done one rookie draft. There's obviously we've got the new one coming up with the guys over at Niner Lounge, so that should be a bit of fun. Although I'm a little bit miffed about that, I must be honest. They cleared my team. I'm not funny. I did a Niners and I drafted Brock in the last round of the rookie draft last year, and now he's gone. He's not on my roster anymore. You're all very lucky because I had a good set of youngsters coming through on there. I was confident of another win, but yeah, I mean, like I say, it's another week close to the football, baby.
Yeah, so for those people who are tuning in, if you're not big into the fantasy football, the Scott Fishbowl is the premier tournament. For some reason, Nick, they let me into it last year. I didn't come last, so they've extended the invite this year. So you'll all chuckle. I have to play this one properly. So I've only had 2 picks so far, and I've resisted picking Niners because the way I've picked, they haven't fallen my way. But rest assured, there'll be some Niners in there. But it got us thinking, fantasy football, reigning, defending, double 49er Faithful UK champion. First time anyone has ever done that. And Nick did beat me in a league last year. Yes. And his reward for that has been the team to be cancelled. And we draft again.
It's gone. It's a dynasty league and my dynasty team is gone. And the team that destroyed Paul is gone. But hey ho, I'll have to do it again. Yes.
However, before we get started, Nick, there's a few comments. So James was bright and early, evening all. Great news about the watch party on the 15th of October. Everyone that's gone, take their mini flags and we can have a massive group photo. So yes, James, that will be on the cards. So the cat is out the bag. October the 15th will be the official watch party in the UK. I've been advised by El Presidente. For those of you who are in the Facebook group, do head over to the Facebook group. There is a post on there with all the details. If you are not on Facebook and you follow me, Nick, the 49er Faithful UK on Twitter, do not worry. We will keep you updated. But yeah, it's going to be great to be making plans, Nick. That's what I'm excited about. We're so close to the NFL season starting. And already you can see the banter flowing in the group. You can see people flashing new jerseys. You can see the merchandise. As James has put there, for those that aren't vertically challenged, can stand at the back and hold their flags. So we have our own unique flag, as James has pointed out there. And I have set everybody the challenge that wherever you go in the world, and if you've got a flag, get a photo, tag me on social media, because at the moment it is a little bit quiet in Niners land. Dare we say that, Nick? It's a little bit quiet.
But in fairness, the faithful, they've been up to the challenge. We've seen a lot of photos all over the place. I still maintain, I truly believe that Eric Oregaard is going to be the first man to have the photo with the flag on the moon.
Yeah, to be fair, Eric is based in Singapore, and his itinerary does make me very jealous when I follow him on Instagram. Brian is in the house. So Brian is smashing it on YouTube at the moment.
mate.
If you've not followed Brian on YouTube, head over to his YouTube channel. And as he's put there, please do smash the like button for the 49er Faithful UK. 49ers royalty is in the house. Now, some would say, Nick, he's tuned in to keep an eye on me and you because there's certain things we're not allowed to talk about. That's what rumour would have. And Lee, next week, buddy, I will have the microphone holder that doesn't make any noise. It is on order. Thanks to you, El Presidente, for sending me the link, but it won't arrive until tomorrow. So for tonight, Nick, we're not allowed to bang the desk because it makes an awful noise. I've been told. Rich is in the house. Appreciate you checking in from across the pond. Everybody's favourite content creator, Ty, just joined in to make sure we don't talk quarterbacks. Don't worry, Ty. It's not on the agenda tonight. And we do appreciate the love. Mr. Vice President and Mr. All Pro. But it's also good to see you, Ty. And again, a shout out. If you're not following Ty on Twitter, YouTube, you know what to do, faithful. Hopefully London holds better fortunes than Leeds. Appreciate the love, Brian. El Presidente with some breaking news. Yep, don't really. I know you better than most, so it is appreciated. And as Ty put there, he's here in a supervisory role only. So, Nick, you will be like me. You will have booked your train tickets. You'll be excited to be watching. And it's not on the weekend where you have plans. So you've got no excuses this time because last year, Nick, you left me in the lurch, buddy. I was stood last man standing at that bar waiting for you to turn up.
Well, in fairness, I was busy taking part in the Flag Football UK Division 1 final. We weren't expecting to get as far as we did. But obviously this year will be a bit further on. We'll be fine. We'll be fine.
Brett Sinclair has not only checked in, but he's also checked in live from Italy, Pisa. Now, Brett, I fully expect to see 2 photographs from that holiday. One is of you in a Niners shirt doing the holding the tower up.
And the
second is you with a flag. And if you don't get either of those things, Lee will have a word because I'm scared to have a word because you are harder than I am, Brett. But it's all love, buddy. It's all love. And we're joined by Ted, Talkspoiled in the house. And Lee has stole my thunder. He hopes Brett's leaning as much as the tower as surely it's happy hour in Pisa.
No, so, there's not enough booze in Italy to take that man down. Pisa will fall over. The tower will fall over before Brett will.
Oh, Nick, this next comment's going to break your heart. He forgot to bring the flag.
Cancel.
Brett, you had one job, buddy. Melanie would have packed everything else. All you needed was a Niners shirt, Niners hat, and a Niners flag. I mean, I go to Tenerife on the 30th, and all the girls in my office today, Nick, were like, are you packed? Are you ready? I was like, I've got my Niners shirt. I've got my flag. Got my hat,
flag, cap, sorted.
What else do I need? But my second holiday, I sound like an international jet setter. I sound like Eric Oregaard. I will be in Mallorca, but stand by, everybody, because I'm going to be joined in Mallorca for 1 day and 1 day only by a special guest. And we will have our photo with the flag. So keep an eye out. I think it's second week in August when we're over there. Reached out. We're going to be there at the same time. So a spoiler, it's not Nick, because you can tell by the look on his face. But
definitely not me.
Keep an eye out for that. So Lee, they're all talking in the comments. So Brett has been repping the Trey Lance shirt. That's about it for quarterbacks tonight, people. If you've tuned in tonight to hear me and Nick talk quarterbacks, you're disappointed because, as we said at the start of the show, we are in the weird period of the off-season. The Niners don't report to training camp until, I believe, when I'm about to fly out on my holiday. So fear not, the awesome threesome and Nick, because I'm sure he will step in to replace me, will keep you all updated. That first week is going to be weird for me, Nick, because I've promised Tracy a phone-free holiday. So you're going to have to hold the fort, buddy. You are the main man.
I don't believe you're capable of such things. I'm not going to lie. I reckon you could find Wi-Fi signal in Antarctica.
Well, funny you should say that, because I'm smirking because we went to the Lake District last year and El Presidente was like, go be with the family, switch your phone off. There's nothing that we will need to be tweeted out. And then about an hour before I set off, Nick Clark reached out and was like, hi guys, fancy hosting an official watch party? So it was like, so to be fair to Tracy, she knows the passion I've got for the group. She knows the time that we all put in. So I did negotiate a little bit of phone time in the phone free holiday. But tonight, when I was rushing home from work, and me and Nick wanted to put this show together, we will have a special Would You Rather. But I was thinking, Nick, as much as there's nothing to talk about, there is in a way because we are a UK page, we're a UK group.
Indeed.
You've said at the start of the show, there's 9 Sundays until we start. What do you make of the change from Game Pass to Daz or Dazan or whatever it's called? Because you must have seen all those posts like I've seen.
Mm-hmm. I know that there's a lot of differing opinions on it. I know some people who have said they're fine with it, and I know this does seem to be a rather more vocal majority not fine. I'm one of the not fine. I've cancelled mine.
Okay.
I'm not happy about certain things. I contacted customer services from Dazn. I'm worried about what I should and shouldn't say at this point, if I'm being honest. I really wasn't happy and I cancelled. So I'm looking for some other way because it doesn't work with a VPN. Unless apparently it works with a VPN if you're in Brazil or something. Yeah,
see,
so as Lee said, the VPN block is a bit of a worry for a lot of people. But I wasn't too happy that they told me that I was going to be able to pay in installments, and then they've now gone and backtracked on this, saying that you can't because they tried to take the entire full lump out in one go, and no.
Already, because mine's not due to auto renew till August. Yeah. So for those people who are joining us from across the pond, we watched the NFL on an app called Game Pass. It was roughly about $150, but as Nick pointed out, you could pay for it in installments. So the first 4 months of the NFL season, it worked out like £38.
Yeah, something
$40
lines, yeah.
Came out of your account. There was a lot of hate for the provider of Game Pass. There was a lot of issues with Game Pass. So it's moved to a new provider. Now, I haven't cancelled at the moment because I was assured you could still pay in installments. I mean, it isn't a total deal breaker for me. It just gets me in the doghouse a little bit because we'll be on holiday when the money comes out of my bank account. So maybe I get away with that. But there is a couple of people on the NFL UK Facebook group that I'm a part of who have been really good at answering the questions. And you raised a good point. My friend Mike, who's a Rams fan, who is assisting me with the Scott Fishbowl because he's a fantasy football guru. He works in Brazil. So the whole aim of him having Game Pass is with a VPN. So that was a big issue for him. So how definitely true that you can use it with a VPN in Brazil then?
Apparently so. There's I've seen a few posts about it. I don't know. Nothing confirmed. There was bits and bobs. It's just an odd one. I like I say, I mean, when it first switched over, everything went over fine. Like Lee said, the switch between the two was literally a case of putting in my email address from my old account. I'm like, okay, great. But when I logged in, it's now saying it's not in installments; it's in one sum.
Yeah, it does say that on mine, but I've been reassured with that closer to the time. So I've kept an eye on it, but like Lee's put there, it's the equivalent of the Sunday ticket. And what's interesting, as Nick said quite rightly, we're trying to be politically correct, but we are fans. So for me, it was invaluable Game Pass. It helped my knowledge of the game. I like the feature where you could download stuff to your iPad. So I was commuting to work, I could download a game, I could watch, but I've heard that you can't do that.
Apparently that's gone.
Like that, the games are only going to be available for so many days. So for those people who are watching, who love the Awesome Foursomes breakdown, for me, Game Pass was invaluable because you could watch the coaches film, you could you could pause the tape, you could make your notes. But it will be a shame because the NFL in the UK is massive, and we're not just talking 49ers. You've seen the scramble for tickets for all the international series.
Oh, it's been mental.
You can see as the Niners have got the marketing rights, and it would be a shame if they take a step backwards. And that's why I wanted to mention it tonight, Nick, because I have seen a few posts in our group, and we've said it before, and I'll say it again. Our group is awesome. I went out for a curry and some beers on Friday night with my friend who's a Cowboys fan, and he was saying that the Cowboys group isn't a patch on what ours is, and he's always envious when we meet up. And I talked to him about our plans for a meet up. You know, Alan Gow is arranging the Glasgow meet up. I know yourself is possibly considering, this is breaking news, a Swansea meet up. And on that
Cheers,
news,
mate.
though, Nick, what I was going to say was, when we say to meet up, if you're in your local area, put a post out. If it's 2, 3 of you go watch a game together, but it will be a shame if your people's enjoyment of the NFL is spoilt due to the issues of moving across.
There is a worry about it. I mean, I know a lot of people did have issues with the last service, but I'll be honest, my Game Pass always worked really, really well. My big thing was that because the old one, they didn't have, they didn't transfer the app from PS4 to PS5, and that's how I watched mine, was on my PS4. And then I had to move the app onto my Fire Stick. And because that is a Wi-Fi device, the signal quality just wasn't as good. And there was a little bit more of a delay because it is Wi-Fi. It's not a wired connection. So I was always 30, 40 seconds behind my Twitter feed, which is just, during a game, it is on. It is there. It's in front of me. Football and Twitter seem to go hand in hand with me. I feel for anyone who follows me that doesn't actually follow the NFL, because they get a healthy dose of that once a week.
Never apologise. You've seen my Twitter feed.
But it's, I'm worried about the new service. I must be honest. It does feel like a step back.
Well, Mike has just texted me and thanked me for the shout out. So he's obviously interested in if the VPN works, because like you said, I know he works away a big chunk of the year, so it was invaluable for him. So what we're saying to people is obviously keep engaged in the group once we know some more information, because I'm getting my information from the NFL UK page. I've tried not to worry about it until towards the end of July, but it's interesting that I'm in the same page as you, that I'm due to have it taken in installments. It's due to come out in one lump sum. Now, Nick, because you flashed your awesome merch earlier, the resident photographer, Wayne, wants to know, where did you get that awesome mouse mat? So for those people who don't know what we're talking about, head over to Twitter. Nick shared his awesome custom mouse mat. I retweeted it
not custom.
earlier on. Is it not custom? I thought
it's not custom. No, I bought it I actually got it from Amazon. In the end, I know initially when I put the question,
there are other retailers available.
There are, of course, because I know Simon Brown, who's I should have just gone straight to Simon, in fairness, because he knows all these things straight off the top of his head. He told me about a custom site that he knew. Then Lee posted actually about Amazon, because I checked European Amazon, there just wasn't any options. But when Lee said about Amazon US, it was like, okay, actually, yeah. So I went onto the US Amazon and I grabbed what are called the ASIN numbers, because that's what they use on Amazon to locate each individual product within their warehouse. If you save the ASIN number, ASIN, copy that and paste it into the UK Amazon, it may still find it. It may. It all depends if the seller will still sell to outside of the US. Now, the one I got did. So it was £30, free delivery, and it took about 4 or 5 days to get to me from New Jersey.
See, at this point, given that I've already just purchased a new item for the microphone, I'm sure I can hear Tracy somewhere downstairs. The text will come through. How much for a mouse mat? But to be fair, Nick, it does look fire. So you flexed your setup. Wayne wanted to know. So Wayne, Nick will send you the link.
There it is.
And
I will ping you a link, mate.
Who thought Eric will be buzzing? Because Eric works for said retailer. You're giving away some of his trade secrets. Now, Nick, obviously we cancelled the show last minute last week. So I do appreciate everyone's understanding. So I do apologise for anything that you would prep for that show, because I know you like to take your prep very serious with your notes.
Well, yeah. I also apparently enjoy shredding them prior to the show as well, every now and again, just to waste my time.
You do. Now, Nick, I might be going in a little bit early for this, because we've only been going live for 20 minutes.
Okay.
But we like to keep it a little bit fresh on the 49er Faithful UK. Now, as host, I am going to go first tonight because I need your help before we start. So Nick has got a nice smile on his face.
Concerned. No, this is concern.
So Nick, for my would you rather, out of the current roster, I need you to pick your 2 favourite players and announce who they are for my would you rather to work. So if you could please kindly, sir, tell me who your 2 favourite players on this current roster are.
Well, number one's easy, George Kittle. If you saw my delivery the other day, it was rather heavy on the young man. I've got to say Fred. It's George and Fred for me.
So the reason I wanted to know your 2 favourite players, so Club 85 and All-Pro Fred are 2 excellent choices. So Nick Clark is a big fan of the show, and he's reached out to little old me. He's seen all the grand work that you're doing promoting the 49ers, and he wants to give you a special opportunity. So Fred and George are both available. You're only allowed to pick one. Whoever you pick, you get to spend the day with. They talk to you about their career, do a little bit of practicing, you get your signed merch, you get your photos. You spend an awesome day of fun with your player of choice.
There's a caveat coming. What is it?
Caveat, but what is it? Whoever you pick will not be allowed to play for the 49ers ever again. So you have your awesome day, you get all your merchandise, but that's it. They will never play for the 49ers again. Now, you have got on record and said it's George Kittle or Fred Warner. So who is your would you rather this week, buddy?
I hear you. How can you pick? How can I pick someone knowing full well they'll never play for the Niners again?
You get an awesome day, though. You get an awesome day.
Yeah. But then it stops them from winning a Lombardi. It stops... That's bloody evil.
It's not evil. Ty, it's not evil, buddy. Come on. Nick gets to spend an awesome day with one of his favourite players.
I know who I want to pick. I know exactly who I want to pick. However, the thought of then saying, "Oh, by the way, you're no longer a Niner anymore because of this," yeah.
I mean, I didn't say you had to break the news to them. I mean, that would have been evil. We've gone down that road before.
But see, all right. Of course, I want to pick George, but how do you get rid of your best? How do you get rid of your favorite player? How do you get rid of? That's awful. I mean, you could look at it logically. Fred is younger, and say, okay, you spend the day with George, you get to keep Fred.
As Ty points out, though, can't see them on the field anymore once you've picked them. Thanks for that.
I know.
I do have a confession to make at the end of this, would you rather, by the way? But go on, Nick. This has been quite fun seeing you toy with your emotions.
This is the exact opposite of fun. This is horrific. This is like
I had to even the score.
It's like that nightmare when you wake up and you're naked in school. This is like that. This is awful.
I've got an alternative for you.
I really wish there was that Dorsey right now. I really do. Look, I'm going to be selfish. It's the only way to do this. I want to spend the day with George. The thought that he's never going to be that's awful.
Well, look at the Twitter poll.
Offer, man.
6,278 votes for Evil Nick. There wasn't enough love for Smug Paul. And it could have been worse, buddy. I could have made you sing the whole national anthem this week, not just the little bit that you sang. Now, confession, before you go live with yours, is when I was preparing for the Would You Rather the other week, and I came up with the singing challenge. The one I've just dropped on Nick, I didn't think of that alone. My good lady Tracy was set the task of assisting me, and when she first dropped that one, I thought it was that evil I couldn't drop it. And then I thought about it and I thought, do you know what, Nick? Yeah, I'm going to drop it. So thank you for answering and playing along.
I feel great after that. Thanks for ruining the rest of the year for me.
However, now is your turn, so I'm going to get myself ready.
Right, okay. I'm going to go a slightly different route. So I'm not really going to give you the would you rather first, the bit that'll come after. All right. So in recent years, the Niners have had their fair share of iconic plays. Agreed? We have the catch. We have the catch one. We have the catch two. We have it all. Yeah, we are the 49ers. That's how it works. But there's been a couple of late. Now, of course, everyone's familiar with Alex Smith taking that ball off. Joe Staley, off he goes. And Alex is running in behind him. Joe Staley just clearing the way. A wrecking ball. In goes Alex Smith. Touchdown. Epic play for the 49ers, yeah? Now,
I would agree. But
we had another one a little bit more recently as well. With young George Kittle. When he decided that he was basically going to put the city of New Orleans on his back, as they all several million of them tried to stop him. And he thought, nah, I'm going to go and get these yards. I'm going to get this into field goal range. We're winning this game. Now, that was a fairly iconic play as far as things go, wasn't it, Paul? You all had a good evening up in Edinburgh with that one.
Allegedly. From what I can remember or what I've been told.
So my would you rather isn't which is your favourite. Which of those plays are you going to take away, completely write them out of 49ers folklore forever? Now, I thought I might make this a little bit easy, given that one of them is so big for the 49er Faithful UK and their rather famed meetups. But the other thing you've got to remember is, can you really take that away from Joe? I mean, imagine doing that.
See, this is what I'm talking about, people. This is why the poll is 6,278. So he luges all in. Oh, poor Nick. Paul gave him a hypothetical scenario that'll never happen. And then Nick's like, right, Paul, two of the greatest players in our history. You have to wipe one of them out.
Gone.
So,
gone forever.
Glance, to be fair, it isn't as easy as I first thought. I can't get my words out. That's how speechless I am. So, for me, you've said there that the Edinburgh meetup was awesome for a number of reasons. And I think that was the catalyst of where the meetups become. I think back to my journey, 2018, I travelled down to Manchester for the draft party, met up with Lee for the first time. I was going through a lot of changes off the field in my personal life. And I wasn't sure jumping on a train from Darlington to Manchester to meet strangers I'd only ever talked to on the internet didn't seem the bravest of decisions I've ever made. And then you fast forward to that night up in Edinburgh, because the meetups were quite small, Nick. There were quite a few of us wanting to meet up. They got bigger and bigger. And that night in Edinburgh was amazing for a number of reasons. And as Ty's put there, from what I can remember, it was a 6 p.m. kickoff in the UK, Ty, which meant we were drinking from the minute we arrived at the pub. And the fact that that winning field goal went over in the last second, and then put it this way, I met a Patriots fan in the bar afterwards who watched the Patriots-Chiefs game with me. And I only know that happened because he texted me 3 days later and said, thanks for the warm welcome. Thanks for all the drinks. And thank you for meeting up with me. I had no recollection of meeting that guy in Edinburgh. And the train journey home the next morning was one of the worst journeys of my entire life. But that Alex Smith play, like you said, it's iconic. Joe Staley's out in front.
I mean, look at what went on to happen to Alex himself.
But
can you really wipe out one of the biggest plays of his career?
But like you, I'm going to have to be selfish, because that was just before my time as a Niners fan. So I am wiping out the first play, and I'm keeping that iconic play up in Edinburgh. George Kittle, Club 85. Yeah. Don't worry, Ty. I was really thrown. I don't even remember the score of that Patriots-Chiefs game. It just shows you. Now, I have an interest in would you rather for the Scotland game. So can you remember that game when we played the Saints and we were all in Edinburgh? The Niners released a video a couple of days later of around the world, reaction around the world when Robbie scored, and there was watch parties all across the globe. We weren't as social media savvy back then as we are now, and there was zero footage of us celebrating when that ball went over. And on the train on the way home, when I saw the Niners social media team drop, I think it was a video from somewhere in Germany or Mexico, I remember saying to Tracy, if only we'd got a video of that. She went, I nearly videoed all you like with that, but I wasn't sure whether if he missed it, you'd want that. And at that moment, I was like, we could have actually had footage, and the legend of the meetup would have been even more. So that's my own alternative, would you rather? But to answer your question, I'm getting rid of the first one. Yes, Ty, we are friends. I can assure you we are friends. But
friends we spend literally the week trying to be as evil as possible to each other for 30 minutes.
And do you know what's funny, Ty? Me and Nick text a lot outside the show. We DM, we share stories, and there's never an inkling of what the other one's going to do. There's never even a hint. There's never even a. So, Paul, Edinburgh, what was the date of that meetup? Or, Nick, who's your favourite place? Because we give nothing away and we save it all for the show. And
always,
as Brett said, I can't wipe out history. Mr. Sinclair's first official meetup. And as he's put better than me, the rest is history.
Unwritten history.
So, Nick, thanks for that. So don't worry, everyone, when I share this back later. I must admit, Nick, there was only one photo tonight. You didn't get that. You're smiling. I can see that there. But all jokes aside, when we head into the season, the would you rathers will be more appropriate to stuff that happens in the game. And what I wanted to move into now, Nick, is I'd seen a few comments on the Facebook group about the Awesome Foursome, the podcasts, the plans for the season. So obviously, as people are aware, we used to be an audio pod only, and then myself and you decided to venture into YouTube. We decided to go and do other shows, and El Presidente has jumped on the bandwagon with us. And I'm excited for the season to start. Obviously, we will have our weekly 49ers Faithful UK live, and we may look to invite a couple of guests on in season, a special call-in show. We may do one of those before the season, because I have been looking at what some of the other content creators have done, Nick, and I do think it might be something we could get a couple of selected guests on, maybe to come on and ask us their would you rather before the season starts, to give me and you the night off. But what I did want to say to people is keep an eye out on the group. We have got plans to do more when the season starts. I know Gareth, Lee and Nadji were keen to put that message out there. They weren't just going to do a show for the sake of doing a show. We're right on point. We did the gold mine issue a couple of weeks ago, and we always tend to do a visit in San Francisco. And it's this time of the year, Nick, where you see people who are heading across the pond posting their posts and, I'm going on this day, and anyone got any travel advice? So anybody who is heading out to the Bay Area, please do let us know. Our friends across the pond will definitely look after you. And I want to say, Nick, I'm excited for the season. I'm hoping that you're on the same page as me.
Oh, of course. You can see you've got people putting the screenshots in, I've got my tickets and this is booked. It's like, there is a tinge of jealousy, of course, because I really wish I was going over as well. But guys, if you're going out, you're going to have an amazing time. There's nothing like Bay hospitality. They're absolutely amazing. You know, from San Francisco all the way down to Santa Clara, they are incredible people. You're going to love them if you haven't been out there already. If you have been out there already, you already know that you love them. So, yeah, man, it's so good. And I say that there's so much hope for this season. There's so much hope for this team right now. There's so much hype around the team, and I think all of it's deserved.
So, Mike, if you are attending for the first time, don't be a stranger. That said, if people are a bit nervous about coming to the meetup, please do reach out to us on DMs. I do think the group has got a good reputation of introducing newcomers. And once you've been to a meetup, the feeling is you tend to want to come to more. And Brett, I'm sure that is a bold prediction that I'm not sure that any of us would make on this show. But I am looking forward to it. And like you've said, Nick, we've said it many a time on the show, buddy. Now is an exciting time to be a 49ers fan. you know, you're doing your fantasy football drafts, you're looking at the makeup of the team. Other people are still arguing about the quarterback. Take the quarterback away. We have got one hell of a roster. We've got one of the best rosters in the NFL. We've got a great coaching staff. I've said it before, training camp, obviously we will try and bring you breaking news, but Ted Talks Ball will be our official source. He's going to be at training camp. Brad Graham, Jason Aponte, Steph Sanchez, who I was lucky enough to do a show with recently, they will all be there. So the stuff that we bring you won't just be our opinion. We will be bringing you fact from training camp. Cheeky plug there, because it was nice to get on and talk all things linebackers with Steph, to be fair, Nick. We decided we didn't want to talk about the quarterback. So if you haven't caught that show with me and Steph, I'll tweet the link out after the show. And you do not want to miss next week's Would You Rather, because I have a feeling Nick is going to go bigger and bolder after tonight. And Ted, you will be our source buddy, trust me. But anything else that you want to talk about tonight, Nick? Or am I just going to keep rambling on?
No, I think we've kept these people long enough today. Again, guys, we really want to say thank you for tuning in. You know, please make sure you're hitting that like button, hit that subscribe button, share where you can. It really does help us grow the channel in new and more exciting ways all the time. Just thanks for sticking with us, guys.
So all that is left for me to say, and we've got this right for once, Nick, we can have a little celebration, is go Niners.
Go Niners, baby.
We love the San Francisco 49ers deep in our heart. Like Joe Montana in the corner, Detroit.